Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. I, 24 female, have always had a deep passion for writing, and pursuing a creative writing course in college has always been a dream. But my mom, who is a physician, opposed that idea and told me directly how lame that course was. She urged me to take a pre-med course instead, which had been her plan since I was a child. She had always been in control of my life, and I couldn't disobey her because I knew she only wanted what was best for me. So I had no choice but to stick to her plans and took pre-med to earn a validation and make her proud. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, considering that I didn't have the slightest interest in that course. In fact, anything to do with science was my most hated subject in school. In my first year, I was already barely passing my subjects, but my mom was adamant I still follow ahead. Apart from that, I felt burned out, stressed, and pressured. I knew I couldn't finish that course no matter how I tried. So in my second year, I decided to drop out of school without my mom's knowledge. But she eventually found out and tried to drag me back. So I told her I really wanted to pursue my passion for writing. She was infuriated and even threatened that she would cut me off. But I was really dedicated to taking creative writing, so I was forced to move out of the house and find a small apartment and a part-time job to support myself. It was hard at first, but after a few months, I got the hang of it and was doing better alone. I had no contact with my mom since I moved out. But I never held grudges against her, despite all I had gone through. I knew how it felt to not be able to pursue my dreams, so I somehow got where she was coming from. It has always been a dream for me to become a doctor like her. But unfortunately, I didn't want that for myself. But at least I tried. It wasn't for me. And I knew I would forever regret not pursuing my passion over my mom's validation. After 4 years of being a working student, I was able to graduate with my Bachelor's of Art in Creative Writing. Besides that, my creative thesis, which was used in a short film by one of the famous YouTube channels, got popular and gained a lot of views and recognition. There were some moderately high-profile figures involved in the film's production as well, so I got to work with them so early in my career. Yay! Anyway, I'm now set to write another script for an indie mini-film to be produced by one of the producers involved in the YouTube film. I am just blown away and am ecstatic to finally live my dreams, and my mom reaching out to me after years of no contact and congratulating me was the last thing I expected. So I was baffled when she actually did. She went to my university and invited me to a dinner to celebrate my achievements. However, all throughout the evening, all she asked about was the famous people I got to work with while making the film. She never even told me she was proud of me or even asked how I was doing. She then just casually asked when the graduation ceremony would be so we could shop for a nice outfit together beforehand. I knew Mom very well. She was probably just being nice to me again because she could brag to other people about what I had achieved. I was disappointed because I expected to at least get an apology from her for everything that happened before. But I guess she hasn't changed at all. So I told her that I already invited my friend to accompany me to the graduation ceremony and lied about only one person being allowed to go. She was shocked by what I said, which I found so ridiculous because how could she act like nothing happened, like she didn't cut me off? She then questioned me how I could not invite her, my own mother, to my graduation and told me how disrespectful it was. I didn't know how to answer. I was too disappointed, enough to just drop this whole conversation with her. So I just told her that I didn't think about it. She was already raising her voice and starting to get mad at me, so I stood up and told her I had to go. Am I the a-hole for not inviting my mom to my graduation? Update. I got a lot of job offers after graduation, but I chose to take things slow so I can commit fully to each script I'm writing. I moved into a single-bedroom apartment with a flatmate, and now I'm writing a script for a cable TV movie, which is really next-level stuff for me. I didn't have contact with my mom again after that night, but I'm happy with how my life is going right now. Although I'm still hoping that maybe someday we get the chance to talk again and resolve our issues with each other, hopefully. I'm glad you pursue your dreams instead of your mom's, OP. Even though it was hard, you went for it anyways. Your mother definitely owes you an apology. She should have supported you even though you wanted to go on a different path in life. But instead, she abandoned you and now she wants to come back to your life like nothing happened. It's a good thing you didn't allow that. She should know she did a very bad thing. The least she can do is offer a genuine apology, and then you two can take baby steps in mending your relationship. Good luck, OP. Story 2. Growing up, my 22 female's boyfriend, 23 male, was the only child of his wealthy parents and first grandchild and nephew of his very wealthy family. This is relevant to the story because his entire life everything has been handed to him without him barely even lifting a finger. He is a sweet and loving guy, but sometimes does not know how the world truly works, and his entitlement starts to peak. Since he was 14 years old, his parents have brought him or given him a new car every 2 years or so. His recent car was a 2020 Toyota Corolla. Again, he had his parents switch it from his 2018-2019 car just because he wanted to. However, 2 days ago, we were in a car accident. Nothing serious, no one was injured. The car was just severely damaged. The shop told us it would take a couple of days to fix the damages. And this is where things started to go south. He basically demanded that his car be done the same day. And it was completely embarrassing, and I felt so bad for the mechanic that I apologized on my boyfriend's behalf. When it finally settled with him that there was no way that car was going to be fixed the same day, he went asking his parents for a replacement car. I had offered to have us get around in my car, but according to him, my 2015 Chevy Malibu is too old. Because his parents do not live in the same city as us, the best they could do was ask a good friend of theirs to allow for my boyfriend to borrow one of their cars. When my boyfriend saw that the car was a 2005 Honda Civic, he immediately became the most childish person I've ever met. He threw a tantrum about the car, and it was just outright ridiculous. At this point, I was over him being like that, so I said, "You are 23, a grown man. I really think it's time for you to grow out of your entitlement and appreciate what has been given to you." Admittedly, the way that I said it was very harsh, and I apologized almost immediately after realizing the tone that was taken. I grew up the eldest daughter of 5 from 2 immigrant parents. I know what it's like to not have nothing and have to work yourself up to having everything you've dreamed of. And the fact that he was throwing a tantrum over him not getting the replacement car he wanted was just insane to me. He got upset with me and told me that there was no reason for me to say those things to him. And currently I'm getting the cold shoulder. Was I the a-hole for saying that he's entitled? Not the a-hole, OP. It doesn't seem this relationship is gonna work if this is how he reacts whenever things don't go his way, and how he mistreats workers. He might treat you the same way he treated the mechanic, like someone that works for him. Once your relationship gets more serious and you find yourself doing everything for him, like a slave, simply because he just can't do it. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. Your boyfriend sounds like a spoiled brat. You calling his behavior out is probably the first time he was called out for his entitlement. Let him some time to think and to calm down. I'm sure he will eventually understand how shitty his behavior is. If not, then you dodged a bullet. Not the a-hole, and wow, that's a lot of entitlement he was showing. Keep telling him the truth, even if it hurts him a bit. If he needs another car to drive around, he should go to a shop that gives loaner cars, though he wouldn't be happy with them either. Or there might be a rental agency that will rent a car to someone under 25 near you. Not the a-hole. OMG, drop this guy like a hot rock. He will probably be like this throughout his life. Do you really want a ringside seat to his hysterics every time things don't go his way? Life only gets harder from here on out. You need a partner you can count on and lean on sometimes. He sounds like a good times guy. All is great as long as things are going his way. When things don't go his way, watch out. Run. Story 3. Several years ago, I, 37 female, married Tina, 48 female, after 5 years of dating in a state that recently allowed same-sex marriage at that time. I was already 7 months pregnant from a donor when we got married. I had my baby and took maternity leave for 2 months. Tina was having trouble finding a job, so we agreed that she would be a stay-at-home mom. When the baby was 3 months old, all hell broke loose. It's difficult to explain one tumultuous month concisely, but Tina wanted more breaks from taking care of the baby, asked for a divorce, and made wild accusations towards me as well as threatened to ruin my life, prompting me to do a background investigation. She has been arrested several times for burglary, drugs, and had several civil court cases for not paying rent or avoiding high bills by giving fake names. It was very alarming and embarrassing that I missed the red flags, and I moved out immediately. When I served her divorce papers, she said that she is going to get sole custody because she is listed on the birth certificate. I spoke with my lawyer and she said that in my state, there wasn't a same-sex marriage case of a child that was conceived outside of marriage but born within the marriage. Because of the lack of laws regarding the same-sex marriage with a child conceived by a donor, my lawyer suggested for me to fight as if she has no legality over the child. I told my friend Sarah my plans for the custody case. She is also in a same-sex marriage with her wife as the birth mother of their child. Sarah agrees that it was too dangerous for Tina to even have joint custody of my son, but she got upset because she said I was setting a precedent for future cases by making the non-birth parent in same-sex marriages have no rights to the child at all. I told Sarah that I have to protect my son and can't take the risk of Tina having paternal rights. She hasn't talked to me since then. Tina actually didn't even show up in court at all, so that automatically gave me sole custody. But am I an a-hole for taking advantage of the lack of laws to prevent an ex from taking any kind of custody? Or should I have stated that she has parental rights and then taken a risk to prove that she's unfit to have joint custody? Now for some comments. Not the a-hole, and I think Tina forced you into taking these actions with her threats. I understand what your friend is saying about precedent, but that won't help you with your child. Sorry you are going through this and good luck. Not the a-hole. Your job as a mom is always to protect your child before anything else. I'm also a queer woman, and I'm here to say that the laws of your state are not your fault or your responsibility. At least not more so than the next guy. Your lawyer is responsible for building the strongest case possible for you, and you are wise to accept her advice. It may be a precedent, but it's not a strong one, and you are not culpable for what others make of this. Not the a-hole, and several states as precedent already have done this. I don't recall off the top of my head, but the non-birth parent, in cases of birthing, has limited or no rights, as I understood the cases. In addition, as you conceived prior to marriage, not sure if you were with her or not at the time, and barring her adopting the child, she'd likely be regarded as a step-parent, whose rights would likely be terminated upon dissolution of the marriage, unless she could prove you were not an adequate caregiver. Not a lawyer, and this isn't legal advice, just breaking down cases I've read in the news for similar situations.